This could be disastrous for the entire economy. But what if I told you that this city, once dubbed the entertainment capital of the world, has now become one of America's biggest tourist traps? Las Vegas, a place built on the promise of cheap rooms and endless fun, has morphed into a playground only the wealthy can afford. Sky-high hotel rates, outrageous food prices, and vanishing deals have turned Sin City into a cash-sucking vacuum. Yet, tourists keep pouring into this trap. Today, we're exposing the brutal truth about why visiting Las Vegas in 2025 isn't just a mistake. It's financial self-destruction. The price shock in Las Vegas is staggering. Picture this: you book what seems like a decent deal on the Strip, maybe $150 a night. Sounds reasonable, right? But when you check out, the bill looks like you accidentally bought a used car. The reality is harsh. Compared to pre-pandemic times, vacation costs in Vegas are up 26%. This isn't just inflation, it's calculated price gouging. Let's start with hotel rooms. Average rates are 24% higher than a few years ago, even though occupancy has dropped from 95% in 2019 to 85% today. How does that make sense? Fewer guests, fewer rooms, yet higher prices. The Mirage is gone. The Tropicana was demolished for a new baseball stadium, and rooms that once cost $100 are now $300 on peak weekends. The logic is backward, but casinos don't care. They're milking every tourist who still shows up. Then there are those damn resort fees. Once mocked as a scam, they've ballooned to $40 to $55 a night, tacked on after you book. And the nickel-and-diming doesn't stop there. Rental car costs are up 29%, with parking fees of $18 to $40 a day. Feeling hungry? Food prices have skyrocketed 49% since 2015. Buffets that used to cost $20 now run $60 to $100 per person. Even at upscale resort food courts, a single meal sets you back $20 to $50. The price gouging is absurd. $25 for real cutlery at MGM properties, $30 for a coffee and bagel at Fontainebleau, $20 for a Red Bull vodka on the Strip, and $9 for a Diet Pepsi. These stories go viral online, amplifying Vegas's new reputation, not for fun, but for extortion. Social media spreads the outrage faster than casinos can cover it up. Tourists aren't just annoyed, they're leaving. Why spend $500 for 2 nights, sipping watered-down drinks and paying $60 for early check-in when places like Reno, Tahoe, or Phoenix offer better value? Vegas used to sell dreams. Now it sells resentment. But if you think overpriced food and rooms are bad, wait until you see what's happening on the casino floor, where the games themselves are being rigged against you like never before. The death of fair gaming is another nail in the coffin. If you thought prices outside the casinos were brutal, step inside and prepare to be insulted. Las Vegas built its empire on the thrill of fair gambling. Low table minimums, 3:2 blackjack, and a sliver of hope for the little guy to win big. But in 2025, that dream has been quietly buried under a pile of corporate greed. Let's start with Blackjack, Vegas's staple game. Once, you could walk into any strip casino, sit at a $5 table and try your luck. Not anymore. Those $5 tables are extinct. Even $25 minimums are rare on the Strip. And if you want traditional 3:2 blackjack payouts, forget it. Those odds are now locked in high roller rooms with $100 minimum bets, effectively shutting out regular tourists. Instead, you're stuck with 6:5 blackjack, where the house edge is nearly doubled. Roulette hasn't escaped the corporate slaughter either. Old-school single-zero roulette, already rare in the US, was replaced by double-zero standards years ago. Now, triple-zero roulette is spreading like wildfire, pushing the house edge above 7%, almost double what gamblers faced a decade ago. It's a jackpot for casinos and legal robbery for you, dressed up in neon. Even worse, many of these games are losing their human touch. Casinos are replacing live dealers with digital terminals, where one dealer can oversee dozens of screens. For management, it's efficient, fewer staff, lower wages. But for players, it strips away the camaraderie, the subtle edge of reading a dealer, the essence of casino gambling. You're not betting against Vegas anymore. You're betting against an algorithm that never blinks. The consequence? Tourists leave Vegas not with stories of wild nights and lucky streaks, but with complaints that they never even had a chance. When gamblers feel the game is rigged, they stop coming. The house may always win, but when it kills the illusion of fairness, it kills the city's soul. And if the casinos feel like a hostile battlefield, brace yourself, because the next blow comes not from the games but from the people who were supposed to make your trip magical, the staff. When service vanishes, a layoffs crisis erupts. Imagine paying $500 a night for a strip hotel, only to lug your own bags, bus your own table, and beg an app for help instead of a concierge. Welcome to Las Vegas in 2025. The city that once sold top-tier service is quietly dismantling it, and tourists are waking up furious. It started with underreported layoffs. Caesars Entertainment merged its buffet server and busser roles, forcing older, long-term workers to quit. What does this mean for you? You pay $60 to $100 per person for a buffet, only to see one overworked staff member juggling tables, refilling drinks, and taking orders. That's not luxury, it's chaos. Then there's MGM Resorts. Hotels like Excalibur eliminated entire bell desks. Guests expecting a warm welcome now find no one to help with luggage. MGM also slashed concierge services. Unless you're a high roller, your help comes from a chatbot. Resorts World followed suit, and Fontainebleau even had security escort fire dealers out like criminals. The message is clear. Service is expendable. Profit isn't. Why does this matter? Because Vegas was never just about flashing lights and slot machines. It was about making you feel like royalty no matter your budget. That illusion is gone. Guests report long room service waits, understaffed restaurants, and front desks that feel like DMV counters. When workers are stretched too thin or replaced by apps, the customer experience collapses. Resentment builds fast when people pay premium prices for discounted service. Ironically, these cuts don't just hurt tourists, they hurt the city itself. Hospitality jobs are the backbone of Vegas's middle class. Fewer jobs mean less local spending, which fuels economic stagnation. By chasing short-term savings, Vegas is strangling its own lifeline. But the soul of Las Vegas isn't just fading, it's being replaced. As human workers vanish, casinos are doubling down on something colder, more mechanical, and far more profitable. The decline of dining and entertainment is another grim sign. Vegas was once synonymous with abundance, football field-long buffets, quirky $20 matinee shows, and menus with everything from cheap to lavish. That Vegas is gone. What remains in 2025 feels hollow, gutted, and designed to bleed your wallet with fewer choices than ever. Take buffets. For decades, they were Vegas's symbol of excess. Prime rib, crab legs, towering dessert stations. Now most are gone. The few left charge $60 to $100 per person, with limited hours and no dinner service. In their place, casinos tout shiny new food courts as progress. But food courts aren't cheap or better, they're standardized, overpriced, and dull. You walk in, and every stall charges $20 to $50 for a meal. Variety has been replaced by uniform mediocrity. The same collapse has hit entertainment. Not long ago, you could catch a comedy show for $5 with a coupon. Even mid-tier shows cost $30 to $40. Those days are over. Small, affordable acts are gone, swallowed by $150 to $300 Cirque du Soleil tickets or headliners like Lady Gaga or Bruno Mars. Taking a family of 4 to a show costs $400 to $600 just for seats. Suddenly, entertainment isn't spontaneous. It's a luxury splurge. Why does this matter? Choice was the engine of Vegas's magic. Families could tailor trips to their budgets. Young couples could catch a cheap show on a whim. Retirees could enjoy variety without going broke. Now, everyone's herded into the same expensive experiences or nothing at all. Spontaneity is dead, replaced by a suffocating sense that every choice is designed to drain your cash. It doesn't stop at food and shows. Even the once competitive nightlife scene has shrunk to a handful of megaclubs where $500 bottle service is the norm. Vegas used to offer something for everyone. In 2025, it feels like it only caters to one type of tourist, the ultra-wealthy. But if dwindling choices are depressing, wait until the basic laws of supply and demand catch up with Sin City. Because those departing tourists aren't just making a statement, they're triggering a reckoning. The economics don't add up, and a supply, demand, and looming reckoning are closing in. Las Vegas was built on a simple formula. Cheap rooms plus cheap food equaled massive foot traffic, which translated to casino floor profits. But in 2025, that formula has been flipped. The Strip now charges luxury prices for budget service, and basic economics are finally hitting the city hard. Despite hotel costs being 26% higher than pre-pandemic levels, Strip occupancy is actually lower than in 2019. Back then, Vegas boasted a stunning 95% occupancy rate. Today, it's closer to 85%. Think about it. With hotels like the Mirage and Tropicana gone, there are fewer rooms available, yet fewer people are staying. Supply is down, so occupancy should be up, but it's not. Why? Because tourists aren't buying what Vegas is selling. The same imbalance is hitting dining and entertainment. The data doesn't lie. Food costs are up 49% since 2015, and it's enraging visitors. $30 bagels and $20 cocktails go viral on TikTok. These prices don't draw crowds, they push them away. Every time a tourist posts a $9 Diet Pepsi receipt on Reddit, another dozen potential visitors rethink their trip. Negative buzz multiplies, creating a vicious cycle of declining demand. Meanwhile, casinos keep trying to fix the problem by raising prices even more, essentially squeezing more money from fewer guests. But that's not sustainable. Any economist will tell you that when prices rise faster than wages or perceived value, demand collapses. That's exactly what's happening. International visitors are drying up, and domestic tourists are heading to Reno, Phoenix, or even tribal casinos with better odds and lower fees. If enough people walk away, the Strip will have no choice but to slash prices. Economics will force a reset. But until then, Vegas is trapped in a dangerous feedback loop. Gouge guests, lose guests, raise prices to cover lost revenue, lose more guests. It's the classic death spiral of a brand that forgot its customers. While economics might sound cold and abstract, the consequences are anything but. As the money dries up, the city itself starts to crumble, revealing a human crisis Vegas can't hide with neon. The social fallout is stark. Behind the neon and Instagram filters, Las Vegas is grappling with a reality it doesn't want you to see. The city that promised endless opportunity is now buckling under its own choices, and the consequences hit ordinary people the hardest. Start with homelessness. A few blocks off the Strip, you'll see it firsthand. Encampments under overpasses, tent clusters near vacant lots, families with nowhere to go. Vegas's homeless population has surged to over 6,500, one of the highest per capita rates in the U.S. Unlike decades ago, many aren't passing drifters. They're former hospitality workers, casino employees, or renters priced out by soaring housing costs. Picture losing your job after casino layoffs, then watching the average one-bedroom rent climb above $1,500 while your unemployment barely covers groceries. For too many, that's the reality. Crime, unsurprisingly, follows economic desperation. The FBI ranks Vegas in the top 20% of U.S. metro areas for violent crime, and locals report rising theft, assaults, and scams around the tourist corridor. Visitors complain about aggressive street performers demanding tips or fake monks soliciting donations on pedestrian bridges. The Strip is becoming less a spectacle and more a gauntlet of petty hustles. Darkest of all, the very industry that built Vegas, the casino resort machine, created this mess. By cutting jobs, jacking up costs, and slashing services, corporations have widened the gap between what locals earn and what it takes to survive. Hospitality workers who once lived middle-class lives now choose between rent and food. The city of second chances is failing its own people. For tourists, this social decay creates a jarring contrast. You might spend $20 on a watered-down cocktail at Caesar's Palace, then step outside and see someone begging for change in the same block. That's not escapism, it's dystopian. Every tourist who leaves with that memory takes a piece of Vegas's reputation with them. But if you think homelessness and crime are the final blow, think again. Because the number one reason Vegas is losing its soul isn't just about prices or poverty. It's about replacing humans entirely. The rise of robot dealers is where the human touch dies. Casinos used to feel alive. Bantering with blackjack dealers, the camaraderie at the craps table, the encouraging wink when the dice ran hot. That human touch was the fairy dust that kept people coming back year after year. But in 2025, that magic is being systematically erased, replaced by cold efficiency and glowing screens. What's happening is that more casinos are swapping live dealers for automated terminals and hybrid games. No longer do 4 dealers manage for roulette tables. Now one oversees a room of 50 players staring at digital screens. For management, it's a dream. Fewer salaries, fewer benefits, more profit. For gamblers, it's a nightmare. The room feels lifeless, the social spark gone. You're not playing a game anymore. You're feeding money into a machine with no personality. The consequences go beyond ambience. Dealers weren't just card shufflers. They were guardians of fairness. They explained rules to new players, slowed the pace for casual gamblers, and made the table feel approachable. With robots, it's the opposite. The pace is relentless, mistakes aren't forgiven, and odds are tweaked in ways players barely notice until it's too late. The whole setup screams extraction, not entertainment. For the thousands of dealers who made a living from these jobs, the shift is devastating. Layoffs are gutting communities that depended on steady casino work. Vegas has long branded itself as a people-driven destination, even if those people were dealers working 12-hour shifts for tourists from Ohio or Japan. Strip away the workers and you strip away the soul. Ask yourself, do you really want to fly across the country, pay $300 a night plus a $50 resort fee, only to sit at a glorified slot machine masquerading as Blackjack? That's the future Vegas is selling, and it's not one most people want to buy. When human connection vanishes, so does the allure. Without allure, Las Vegas stops being Las Vegas. It's just another overpriced theme park running on autopilot. Vegas didn't lose its magic overnight. It sold it off piece by piece to the highest bidder. Until prices drop, service returns, and the human touch comes back, going there now is foolish. What do you think? Can Las Vegas recover? Or is that dream gone for good? This shift wasn't an accident. It's a calculated strategic pivot rooted in Wall Street boardrooms, not the casinos themselves. To understand why Vegas betrayed its core customers, we have to look at the invisible forces now controlling the city: private equity firms and real estate investment trusts, REITs. In the old days, casino companies like MGM or Caesars owned their buildings. They played the long game, aiming to build brand loyalty and keep tourists coming back year after year. They understood that offering value like 99-cent shrimp cocktails or $5 blackjack was an investment to draw people into the casinos and keep them gambling. That model is dead. Over the past decade, a quiet revolution happened. Casino companies, desperate for cash and to appease shareholders, sold their most valuable assets, the land and buildings, to REITs like Vici Properties and Blackstone. Then they leased the casinos back, locked into long-term, ironclad leases that demand billions in rent each year. This asset-light model sounds great on Wall Street but is catastrophic for tourists. Suddenly, MGM and Caesars aren't hoteliers anymore. They're tenants. Their priority isn't customer experience. It's paying massive rent bills. Every month, whether the casino wins or loses, billions in rent must go to invisible landlords. This relentless financial pressure forces short-sighted, extractive tactics. They can't afford to see buffets or cheap shows as marketing costs to drive foot traffic. Every service has to turn an immediate profit to cover rent. Labor, the biggest variable cost, gets slashed mercilessly. That's why seasoned dealers are replaced by robots, room service is cut, and concierges are outsourced to chatbots. These aren't about efficiency. They're about meeting the demands of landlords who only care about rent checks. The explosion of resort fees, parking fees, and add-on charges is a direct result of this new reality. These are pure profit revenue streams, funneled straight to rent payments. Casinos don't care if these fees alienate customers because they're focused on next quarter's balance sheet, not the brand's reputation a decade from now. REITs and private equity firms don't care about the magic of gambling or the soul of Las Vegas. They care about yields and returns. They see these iconic resorts as assets on a spreadsheet and tourists as revenue units too.